welcome to another edition of Sports Select Sports Talk. We're back here in the Manitoba Sport Hall of Fame where they're undergoing a little bit of a renovation. I don't want to give it all away, but that's exactly what I'm going to do. Midway through October, this exhibit changeover will be done, and it's going to coincide with the Roar of the Rings going on in December. Obviously a huge event coming to Winnipeg's MTS Centre, and they're going to have a bunch of artifacts celebrating all those years of curling history in Manitoba, so you can imagine how cool that's going to look. If you want to come check it out, once again, it's at 145 Pacific Avenue, and you're looking for about mid-October before that's ready. Let's get to the opening kickoff. We're going to start things off with the Manitoba Junior Hockey League. It's a big weekend for them. October 3rd to 5th is their annual MJHL showcase. That's when all 11 teams converge on the MTS Iceplex and they play throughout the weekend. So Thursday night is the first game, and then starting at 1 o'clock on Friday, games start rolling. You'll see a bunch of games then as well as on Saturday. MJHLhockey.ca is the place to go for more information on that. Also, Winnipeg Jets home opener is October 4th. That is on Friday, 7 p.m. You gotta love the home openers. Let's see, hopefully they can win one this year. The last couple of years, the home openers haven't gone so well for the Winnipeg Jets, so hopefully against the LA Kings that changes a little bit. The Manitoba Bisons also host UBC on the weekend. That's on Saturday, October 5th at 1 p.m. at Investors Group Field. The Bisons 3-2, a huge win over the last weekend at their homecoming game against Regina. They're going to need to keep it going to keep themselves in playoff contention in Canada West. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they're going to Calgary to play the Stampeders. That's the next step on their schedule. Hopefully the Bombers can turn things around. Hey, they beat Saskatchewan. It was tough competition. Calgary just as tough. Who knows, maybe they're going to be able to rebound from that, well, we'll just say tough loss over the weekend. Moving to the pat on the back. We're going to go back to the Manitoba Junior Hockey League. We're going to talk about that league a couple of times more throughout the show, but we're going to go to Nipawa, because that is where the Nipawa natives helped with the Terry Fox run that happened September 15th out there. And they were involved with the kids. They were involved, otherwise they were helping to serve. Here's a photo of that as well. You know, you can see the players here working with some of the kids, passing things out here. You always love when teams take part in their communities, and the Nipawa natives obviously are no different. We're going to go to break, but as we go to break, a couple of stories from the Brandon Wheat Kings. The second one you'll see is about a goaltending duo, and the first one is about some local players trying to make the team. Playing for the Brandon Wheat Kings as a 17-year-old is a big step. Just ask Brett Kitt and Tyler Coulter, who are standing shoulder to shoulder with the team's veterans in training camp. But they'll also say playing for the Wheat Kings, having grown up in Manitoba's Wheat City, is something special.
It's been my dream ever since I was a little kid. I've always came to the games. I was a season ticket holder for 7 or 8 years, and I've always dreamed of playing here, so now I have my opportunity, and hopefully I can make the team and play.
It's just awesome. There's no really words to describe it. Playing in your hometown is just a dream come true.
For Coulter, the opportunity to skate with his local Western Hockey League team is a bit more special. Coulter went undrafted initially, but after one phone call, he found himself playing with the Wheat Kings for 3 games last season.
It was pretty awesome getting the call, and then just came up with Christmas and then played a couple games right away, so it was nice to get into the league.
Duncan Campbell was the 3rd local forward trying to make the squad. Besides skating at training camp, the 17-year-old Campbell got into 2 preseason games this season, but will head back to the Brandon Midget AAA team for 2013-2014. He says the speed of the game is one of the biggest adjustments.
Well, it's good. It's definitely a lot faster, a lot tougher. You know, you definitely put your work in practice because you want to, you know, get up to speed for the games because, you know, we're not quite there yet. So, but, you know, we're pushing hard. It's definitely a big step up, but, you know, I like a challenge. I like to be pushed hard, and it's only making me better.
Together, the 3 players helped the Brandon Midget AAA Wheat Kings to the top spot in the league's Western Division last year. Wheat Kings bench boss Kelly McCrimmon is happy with the progress he's seen.
I think they're all big, strong guys that have prepared real well. They're 17 years old, so this is a year that they're all trying to make our club, and I think all 3 guys have shown real well to date.
Now, being from Brandon, like these 3 forwards are, you're going to have some connection with the Brandon Wheat Kings of old, and that's exactly the case. Duncan Campbell was a huge fan of Matt Calvert and used to come to Wheat Kings games all the times and cheer him on, and liked his underdog style and how he was able to translate that into a professional hockey career. Meanwhile, Tyler Coulter used to have Ryan Stone, another former Wheat King, as his billet. For Go Winnipeg, I'm Mitchell Clinton. It's not hard to tell the difference between the Brandon Wheat Kings goaltenders. The more experienced Curtis Honey's mask is painted in Wheat Kings colors. Meanwhile, backup Jordan Papirny hasn't been with the team long enough to paint his mask. The extent of his WHL career is a 3-game stint last season with the Wheat Kings.
I was here for a short period of time, but in those 2.5 weeks, I think I really developed as a goalie. It's kind of weird to think that over a short time span, but I think I learned a lot of good practice habits from obviously Curtis and talking to Corbin, and I think I got some experience on the road too.
Now a regular member of the team, the 17-year-old Papirny is right on the track head coach Kelly McCrimmon likes to see.
We waited 2 years, and his time to play is now, and certainly we got high hopes for him, and I think that he's going to develop into a real good goaltender.
But for now, the starting goaltender is third-year veteran Curtis Honey. The starter says the relationship between the two has been developing for a while.
I've got to know him the last couple of years, and yes, we're pretty good friends, so looking forward to a good working relationship with him.
We love to talk about gear. We could sit around and talk about sticks for 3 hours if we wanted to, or pads, but I think every goaltender kind of has their own kind of quirkiness to them, and I think me and Curtis are pretty similar, so we get along good.
Conversations about gear aside, the focus of the two goaltenders is helping the Wheat Kings get back into the playoffs. The team's run of 12 consecutive appearances in the postseason was snapped last year.
I just want to be a guy that goes in there every night and just gives his team a chance to win. So I think consistency is just a big thing for this year. And anytime I just got to go in there and play a good game, and everything will take care of itself.
Jordan Papirny is the highest drafted goaltender the Brandon Wheat Kings have ever had, but that doesn't mean that there's any sort of goaltender controversy between the two. Curtis Honey and Papirny actually trained together in Edmonton at a special goalie school out west. For Go Winnipeg, I'm Mitchell Clinton.
These are the faces you want to meet. These are the friends you live for. These are the times when we reminisce and we get together and we do our best. Let's live the good times now. 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 We live for tomorrow, we live for today.
Live right. Learn how.
When you wish for something wonderful to happen.
Sometimes it can make you forget
About the needles and the pain.
and get through this thing.
Forget about being stuck inside.
Laugh with my family?
Go somewhere really amazing and get through this thing.
The Children's Wish Foundation of Canada. Imagine the difference a wish can make.
Only Health Check has the Heart and Stroke Foundation's dietitians behind it. Check for Health Check, helping you make healthy choices.
Welcome back to Sports Select Sports Talk. As promised, Jeff Hnatiuk is now joining me, the president and CEO of Sport Manitoba. And Jeff, I mean, it's been a while since the Canada Games, but obviously a very positive experience for the athletes and for Team Manitoba out there. Now that you've had about a month or so to kind of decompress from that, what memories do you look back on from the Canada Games?
Oh, I think just the performance of our team. It was a record-setting performance. It was the best performance that Manitoba has had at a Canada Summer Games. We had 35 medals, and probably as important was the fact that the team came away with the Centennial Cup, which is emblematic of the province that has the best or the most improved record from games to games. So we take pride in that, and what it really reflects too is the overall performance of athletes. Medals is one thing, but improving as we did in the flag points is something that was very important to us. So yeah, it was, I think, a lot of work, obviously, by the athletes, the coaches, the provincial sport governing bodies, but we hope too that it's an indication that some of the programming changes that we've made in and around our Canada Games programming, and through the leadership of Ted Bigelow and the work of Adam Decker here in our Performance Center, is starting to show signs that we're moving in the right directions by providing the kind of supports that we believe our Manitoba athletes should have.
And it's interesting that you mentioned Adam and Ted, because that's exactly what I was going to ask about after. We talked about the improvement and the winning the Centennial Cup, and I was going to ask, do you feel as though, having this training center right here at 145 Pacific Avenue, just almost like a central hub for the athletes to come to, and then you have trainers here and coaches can come here. Do you think that really helped improve the performance? Yeah, we really do. I had the opportunity to spend some time in Sherbrooke, and when you talk to some of the parents, especially parents of those kids who spent time training here, and even some of the parents who dropped by here to watch their kids as they were training here and getting the kind of support that they were from some of our staff here, it was really positive feedback on how they felt their kids were better prepared and were more fit, and really we see the importance of moving forward, and especially when we get the second phase up and running, we're going to be able to expand on that kind of programming even greater than we have. I got to give Ted and Adam and Brent and all those who are working on the second floor now with our athletes a lot of credit, because quite frankly they're doing it out of very cramped quarters, and it's in hallways, and it's in areas of the building that weren't designed for training, but yet they seem to be getting results out of that. So we're really excited about the potential of when we do get the second phase going, what it's going to do for our athletes, and I think we feel it's very important. I think oftentimes Manitobans kind of consider ourselves, well, it's difficult to compete against Ontario, Quebec, BC, or even Alberta. And I think we want to change that thinking, and we really want our athletes and our coaches to believe that whether they're in a Canada Games competition or any kind of national competition, that our athletes here in Manitoba are as prepared as any athlete in the country. And of course, the first step to changing that kind of thought process, a good first step is that Centennial Cup, which I was looking at shortly before we started rolling here. Manitoba's on there a couple of times, which is a good sign. Did you guys have any indication as the games were going on, we're on a pretty good pace here, and we might be able to be in the running for something like this? Well,
and somebody like Ted Bigelow is his experience. The number of games that he's been at, he's always cautiously optimistic. Yeah. When we meet prior to the games, it's we think we can win this many medals or this many points. But as the games were progressing, I sure got the indication from Ted and our other mission staff that something really special is happening here, and our athletes are really performing. I think we had the most fourth place finishes that we've ever had. So, that gives us a thinking we're just on the cusp. And so when you talk about medals and it being maybe not the strongest indicator of our performance, I think the number of fourth place finishes is a really interesting one. I think the fact that we had we had medals in a lot of team sports speaks very well for how our athletes were prepared. So we, as the games progressed, we got a sense that these were going to be very special. And of course, we're looking at this being as a huge stepping stone towards an even better performance in 2017 when we actually host here in Winnipeg and Manitoba. So it's something for all of us to shoot towards.
You'll want to keep your eye on sportmanitoba.ca for information on those 2017 games as they get closer. A little bit closer to nowadays, Kids Sport and Canada West teaming up. I remember we were doing the Manitoba Bisons broadcast a couple of weeks ago, and it just got announced. Talked to Teague Sherman a little bit about it, and so my question would be that it's a partnership between the two. I guess first off, what was your reaction to it? Obviously, Kids Sport hangs out here at Sport Manitoba as well. So
Kids Sport is the charity that we support. We support it administratively and a lot of support on the fundraising side, and it's so important. We hear time and time again some great stories of kids who aren't able to participate in sport because of financial restrictions or barriers that do get a chance to participate, and those who just get a chance to play who may not normally have a chance, but also the odd story of athletes who go on to bigger and greater things. I think Desiree Scott has, is one great example of an athlete who got an opportunity through the kids sport program and has gone on to be one of our top athletes in this country. And so to be able to partner with somebody like Canada West is really important to us to provide exposure for the charity for sure, along with the fundraising that goes along with it. I mean, it's key to us. I mean, we have to raise about $300,000 a year across the province. That helps about 1,500 kids a year participate in sport. So it has a big impact. So it's a great partnership, and we're really looking forward to it.
So the next step, I mean, I remember when the release came out, it was just a matter of this partnership is now announced. I'd imagine they're kind of going through the process of establishing what the programs are. That's kind of going to be the next step.
I get it. I get a sense of that's what'll happen, and all three of the universities here in Manitoba, both U of M, U of W, and Brandon, we anticipate will have programs that will assist kids in the community. So Brandon will be key to assisting kids in the Brandon Westman area, and obviously the programs at the U of W and U of M will assist the kids here in Winnipeg.
Excellent. One more thing, as we tape this, it's coming up on the weekend. The Hockey Manitoba season opener is something that you're going to be taking a part in this year. Hockey Manitoba doing things a little bit different this year. Usually they start the year off with some fall meetings, but they figured let's drum this up a little bit. Let's get Jeff Hnatiuk involved. Let's get Bob Nicholson from Hockey Canada. I guess your thoughts on Hockey Manitoba taking a little bit of a different approach this year?
Well, I think it's great. It's a great idea. And I think it came from a bit of a review that Hockey Manitoba did around its governance and the way they might be able to do things differently. And to do this kind of kickoff program is really exciting. I understand that it's for coaches, it's for parents, it's for administrators in hockey, and it's a neat idea. And some of the resource people that they're bringing in, I mean, I'm impressed with, the fact that Bob Nicholson is coming in, and Ron Robison, and there's talk on concussions over the weekend, and some really important issues that parents need to be aware of, coaches need to be aware of, and I'm looking forward to it. I think I have the opportunity to be part of a bit of a hot stove conversation on Friday evening that Scott Oak, I think, is moderating, and Bob Nicholson will be there, as I said, and Ron Robison and some others. So it'll be some interesting conversation, I'm sure.
Another guy that's got involved in that weekend is some guy named Jim Toth. Never heard of the guy. I don't think he ever worked at Shaw before. I don't know. Anyways, Jim Toth, of course, is involved as well.
Jeez, I hear I am dropping names and forget to drop Jim's name. I apologize, Jim.
No worries. I'm sure he'll be just fine. Maybe he'll take it up with you at that weekend event. Jeff, you're a busy guy all the time, so we always appreciate you taking the time to join us on Sports Select Sports Talk. Thanks.
Anytime. I appreciate it, Mitch.
All right, we're going to go to break. Plenty more to come on Sports Select Sports Talk. We'll be right back.
Registered nurses are experts on health and an excellent source of health-related information.
I think people don't think of how often they should be hand washing. There are just so many occasions when germs can be spread. If you think about everything you touch throughout the day as an opportunity to spread a germ, you can see that there's limitless opportunities.
Follow these simple tips. Use warm water and a small amount of soap. Scrub for about the time it takes to sing your ABCs. Don't forget to scrub between your fingers and your fingernails right up to your wrist. Rinse and dry your hands thoroughly.
Just realize how many public surfaces you touch in a day. Someone who might be ill might have touched that just before you. You unknowingly can bring that infection into your home, and with just simple hand washing, you could have prevented that risk.
Frequent hand washing is your best defense against the spread of disease and germs.
It just makes sense to make frequent hand washing a habit.
Welcome back to Sports Select Sports Talk. Joining me now is Mike Sirant, the head coach of the Manitoba Bisons men's hockey team. And it's a big week for the Manitoba Bisons men's team because, number one, you got your home opener coming up on the weekend, but also you're going to be playing in the same rink but under a new name. A great way to honor a guy who's I mean, name is synonymous with hockey here in the province and with Manitoba Bisons, Wayne Fleming.
You're absolutely right, Mitchell. This coming Friday, October 4th, is going to be a very special night in Bison hockey and University of Manitoba history when we renamed the arena portion of the Max Bell Center the Wayne Fleming Arena. And what a fitting way to honor Wayne Fleming, as you said, was synonymous with Bison hockey. Wayne really made the Bison hockey program what it is today. He brought it from a competitive program back in the 70s and early 80s to being one of the most respected programs in CIS hockey. And you know, Wayne went on and had a tremendous career both internationally and in the National Hockey League. And the hockey world lost a real gentleman and a true friend when he passed away this past spring after a lengthy and courageous battle with cancer. Wayne touched so many lives, and he was a friend and a mentor to so many people in so many different countries, because his career expanded across not only North American hockey, but he coached, as we know, in Sweden and Switzerland, Germany, Italy. So he had a tremendous impact on the game internationally and specifically here in Manitoba.
Yeah.
And Wayne was a man who never forgot his Manitoba roots. Even though he had moved on from the University of Manitoba, the Bisons were very special in his heart, and he always followed us and supported the Bisons in any way he could, and continued to be a friend and a mentor of mine throughout my coaching career.
And it's obviously, if you want more information on the naming, you'll want to head to gobisons.ca, or even better, go check out the home opener coming up on the weekend. Talking a little bit of hockey now, it's interesting that you mentioned those European countries, because your team a few years ago went to Europe for some exhibition hockey, and now this season you guys went again. How was that experience for all you guys?
It was an amazing experience. Our players enjoyed it tremendously, and it was so good in so many ways. One, it was a fantastic team builder. We have quite a turnover on our team this year through graduation, and some players going on to play professional hockey. So it was an unbelievable chance for the guys to get together, know each other, and we did some amazing team building while we were over in Europe. We also received some excellent competition that gave us different challenges and different adversity. And it's not like playing here in Canada West. You're competing against different types of competition, different levels of competition, and a larger ice surface, different type of officiating. So it was really good for us to get that competition and face these different adversities and challenges, so that when we come back and play in Canada West, that there really shouldn't be anything that would distract us from performing. And we also made sure that we saw a lot of interesting things, so that our players not only saw the rank in the hotel, but saw a lot of very interesting and amazing cultural things as we toured through Europe.
So do trips like this maybe have a little bit more special meaning for you, like being able to go overseas and play hockey in Europe, given the fact that, I mean, you had background as head coach of the Danish team out there?
Well, yes, and I've had so many amazing experiences through hockey. And with the contacts that I have in Europe, we wanted to do this so that our players could experience the fantastic opportunities that I've experienced and been blessed with in international hockey. And you know, anytime, I mean, you can travel Europe on your own or with friends and family, but it's really unique to be able to go and do it in a sporting environment with teammates. And again, it was a real special trip that our players immensely enjoyed, and it's certainly going to be something that we can build on as we go into our Canada West season.
And obviously that Canada West season getting underway on the weekend. Preseason wise, I mean, you guys won 3 of 4 games. I believe it was against Regina and Toronto, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Yeah, and so I mean, you mentioned all the turnover. Blair McCauley, one of the players that won't be here, he moved on. Actually going to be teammates with another former Bison, Mike Hellier. So I guess talk about the team. Where do the strengths lie, and you know, what are the challenges maybe of having a younger team?
Well, it is a different looking team than the past few years. We don't have, let's say, for example, Blair McCauley, who is such an explosive offensive player. So our team is a little bit different. we're not maybe, as I just said, an explosive offensive team, but we really like, our coaching staff really likes this group. Okay. We've got, although it's a young team, we do have some veteran players on our team who are tremendous leaders and are elite Canada West players. Yeah. Players like Dane Crowley and Jeremy Schapper, Travis Bobby, for example, who are real leaders on our team. But it's a group that has recognized that for us to win this year, we're going to have to be an extremely hardworking team that really focuses on a defense-first mentality and scores by committee. Okay. We don't have one or two players that are going to carry the offense this year. It's going to be a group effort, and we're going to score our goals through hard work by getting pucks into the offensive zone and working hard in the offensive zone to create time in the offensive zone and finding ways just to get pucks to the net and bodies to the net, and we'll score that way in power play as well. So I like the way the guys have bought into that, and was really evident in the two games against Toronto, where I was really, really pleased with the effort and the compete level that we got from our players and their buy-in to that identity that we're just going to work really hard, be a very tough team to play against, a physical team, but obviously a disciplined team that is just going to be a very difficult team to play against, that'll wear down their opponents until we can find a break to get one in the net.
Like it. That's Mike Sirant, the head coach of the Manitoba Bisons men's hockey team. You want to check out their schedule, it's at gobisons.ca, and obviously look up men's hockey. Lots of great game times and obviously great competition coming from Canada West this year. Mike, thanks for doing that.
Oh, my pleasure.
Alrighty, we're going to come back to wrap up the show right after this.
Meet Wesley, a member of the War Amps Champ program. He lost his hand in a machinery accident when he was 3 years old. As he grows up, the War Amps will be there, providing support every step of the way. Today, Wesley is a safety ambassador and gives play-safe presentations at schools.
I'm here to teach you about playing safe.
He warns that accidents can happen anywhere.
Play safe.
Play safe.
Whether you can see it or not.
We both have a disability.
And we both know a lot about barriers.
Like physical access.
Or attitudes and perceptions.
Discrimination can happen to anyone.
For more information on human rights protections based on a disability, visible or not,
contact the Manitoba Human Rights Commission.
Because human rights are everyone's business.
Welcome back to the final segment of Sports Select Sports Talk from the Manitoba Sports Hall of Fame in downtown Winnipeg. We're going to get right to the tweet of the week here. And this week's tweet comes from GDI Goaltending. And it's about a Steinbach Pistons goaltender who's scoring a goal against Verdun. We have the video of it, and you'll see he goes behind the net here. And this is against Verdun, the Royal Capitals. Expected to do very well. And he just fires the puck down the ice, and money. I love how the crowd goes absolutely crazy about it too. It's awesome. I love to see that. And obviously, it's not every day you get to see a goaltender score a goal. So that was really cool. That's our tweet of the week this week. If you want your tweet showing up on the show, you're going to want to send one my way at mclinton007. We're going to move to my minute of fame. If you were watching Shaw TV Sports the last week or two, you would have seen my story about the draft eligibility rules changing in the CFL. And Brian Dobie, as you probably saw in the story, is a big fan of that. The players, well, they're like, it would have been nice to have this be my draft year when I thought it was, and instead they kind of had it taken away from them midway through the season. But I got to agree with Brian Dobie. It's awesome because, these guys are student athletes, which is probably the most important part. They are students, and you're at university. As much as you're trying to advance your football career or your athletics career, if that's what you're at university for, you're also in university, and that is an academic institution. So it's good because now it's going to count towards their 4 years of football competition. They have to complete 4 years or be in their fourth year of football competition before they can be drafted. So after they redshirt for a year and don't play, it doesn't count against that. So they're there longer, which means they have a chance to finish out that degree. And really, in life after football, there's so many different cases of athletes that have been able to turn a football career and then move right into business. Wade Miller, just one example of that. Doug Brown as well, obviously writing that weekly column for the Free Press, doing what he does on CJOB with Bob Irving every week. There is life after football, and these athletes, at this point want to get to the CFL as soon as they can, maybe start paying off some of that student loan debt, but you know what's going to help after football is having something to do. So that's, I think, a great move. The CFL basically bumping eligibility by 1 year depending on if you redshirt in your first year or not. That's going to wrap up the show. Special thanks to Mike Sirant and Jeff Hnatiuk for coming on the show this week. We'll see you next week on Sports Select Sports Talk.